Hi, I watched Extraordinary You and here's my review. Undano, a young high school girl with a fragile heart since birth, discovers one day that she is actually a character in a comic book. Better later than never, I finally watched this 2019 drama, if I remember the date correctly, that was not necessarily recommended to me in the past. The person who had not really recommended to me had a very strong second lead syndrome on this drama, and since she's a bit like me and doesn't usually fall for the second guy, actually, she thought maybe I would be in trouble too with this drama, so I never really gave it a try. Recently, though, when I heard about this plot again about being in a comic book, I showed quite some interest into it, but since back then our tastes kind of changed a bit, we thought it would be a good thing to try it, actually, because maybe I would end up really liking it, while she was a bit more on the social side for this story. And the conclusion of watching it is overall pretty good. I really spent a very, very good moment watching this drama. I pretty much binged it, to be honest. But it's not without fault and flaws, unfortunately, and in the end, I still feel a bit disappointed about the drama, even though I still really enjoyed it, like I just said. First thing that is a bit, I wouldn't say disappointing for the story, is that it's not completely a romantic comedy. Ultimately, it is one, of course. But the second part of the drama, or even it starts in the first part of the drama, is really serious and emotional and pretty slow, I would say. Yeah, I think slow is the word, but the atmosphere of the drama is quite different from the atmosphere we get at the beginning and towards the first few episodes. So it could be a letdown for anyone who would want to watch, I would say, a mere rom-com, which was my case. So not completely disappointed because I still like this style, but it was not necessarily what I was expecting either. But now on with the good points of the drama and what I think is really good in this drama. So first, it's the characters. I think they really managed to make, at least for me, they are all very likable characters, except, of course, maybe for one or two characters, but it's in their nature, it's how they are, and it's normal to not really like them until maybe a certain point later on in the future. But yeah, very strong characters in my opinion, and most of them, not all, but I think most of them get a good development throughout the story. I mostly think about two characters when I say this, and it's Baekhyun, who really gets a lot of development going throughout the story, and Yeojuda, who gets to wake up as well and really shake things up for herself. Of course, the plot idea is, I think, very, very interesting. Unfortunately, I think it's maybe not done quite so well, but I will come back to why later on. But yeah, it's a very interesting plot that makes it easy to get interested in the story and easier to get into the first few episodes. Because of this, I really like the start of Haru and Undano. I really like how it's just two mere extra characters who meet outside the story and start falling in love, and him being even more of an extra, doesn't even have lines, can't talk, and a lot of stuff like this. I think it's actually the part of them that I like the most. Of course, I really like the romance. I think they are very, very cute in this drama. Honestly, sometimes the way you look at her, okay, okay. But when they start to know about each other, when it's kind of very innocent, or it looks like it, because he can't talk, he can't do much things by himself, actually. So I really, really like this start for the two of them. Then what I really like also is the trio they make with Andano, Haru, and Ridohwa. there's something about their friendship that is really nice. Even at the end, when they show their friendship together, it's just very cute. And I have this moment in particular in my head that I really remember is when Haru forgot his memories and Hidoa is just so sad and, going around trying to make him remember like he does later on with Ndano. And when he finally realizes that Haru's memories came back, and so Haru is back. This moment was just so pure and cute. I really, really like the friendship of the three of them. Ultimately, I would say that all of the characters, or most of them, are very endearing, and you can get pretty much attached to everyone. I would say even from the cringiest male lead, who is Onamju, to the meanest support character who is Baekhyun. I think all of them get pretty cute and some sort of development, even if not much. Now, onto the bad point, or the things I didn't really like or understand. And disclaimer before I say this, if some things are explained in the drama and I missed it or I misunderstood something, it's completely possible. If I do, of course, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments and, tell me why I'm wrong. So first thing, I think this drama is a bit too long. The size in itself is 16 episodes. It's okay, at least it's not 20. The problem is that in the middle, you get a bit of nothing. Some things happen here and there, you get some development for some people, but ultimately when you think about it, nothing really happens and kind of a lot of repetitive stuff happen. A lot of similar scenes happen when you think that sometimes they could use this time to do something else completely different. Or they could give this time to the ending, because the ending is something I didn't like. And I will explain why just a bit later. Some things in this drama never get explained or never properly explained, at least. For example, why is Ndano the only one who can see the future? Why can't the others do it? Why is Haru the only one who can see the past? Why can't the others do it? Why is Haru the only one who can change the plot? I'm not sure it's really explained. I think at some point they talk about something like because he's just such an extra of extra of extra, but I don't know, it doesn't really make sense of why still you can't do it. Why does the girl the fairy squid liked in the other book, why does she appear suddenly? Well, they say the comic writer is lazy and they just introduce a new character, but there is no use of this character in the story. So why did the writer add it? How does she remember? How did she awake? It's like they really wanted to make a happy ending for everyone, and so they thought, never mind, it's not going to make sense, it's gonna look lazy, just like in the story we're talking about, but we're going to add her back. But anyway, last thing I think that really frustrated me, and we never get to really know what it is, are these holes that appear in their world, in the comic world. My first thought was to think about plot holes, but then again, they can see the past, well, the other book from these, Haru can, and Baekhyun does at some point too, so what is it really? Is it a plot hole? Is it kind of a mirror to the other story? But then why is it there? Actually, when I think about it, I don't really understand why Haru gets to have a cut on his hand either, because yes, they say they redrew the character, the author is lazy, so she redraws the same characters. But since she made Haru such an unimportant character, why does he have a cut? If the author is not even bothered to make a face for Haru, why would the cut be here? I don't know, that's the problem I think with this drama, is that a lot of things are not explained, or if they are not really explained well enough for you to really understand and grasp what is going on and how everything is possible in this world. So that's the point where I'm kind of very disappointed and frustrated about. Next point that is a bit of a shame is that while the drama isn't completely predictable, because some minor things are not necessarily predictable, or maybe it was for you but not for me. What I mean by that is, for example, I didn't predict that Baekhyun would be the one confessing his love to Undano in front of everyone instead of the main couple, when they try to change the story for Lee Do-hwa. While it's not a minor thing in this drama compared to the other things I'm going to talk about, it seems minor. So minor things, not necessarily predictable in the drama. However, for the major things, it's a shame because you see them coming maybe not miles away, but they don't take their time, I think, to kind of make the revelation. They talk about it too quick before it happens. So I'm just going to use examples. First, the fact that both Haru and Undano knew each other from the past. Ultimately, it's from another book, so it's not really the past. But yeah, you get to understand pretty easily that it's the past, and they are not being subtle. Once you get the thought popping in your head, it's sure they knew each other before. So it doesn't come as a surprise when it's revealed. Then another book, same, first time we get to see, I think, the second book, there's another story. Maybe you don't necessarily at this point connect it right away to the past. Oh, yeah, maybe you do connect it right away. You're like, oh, it's not the past, it's another story. Well, either way, it's still predictable at some point that there is another book. There's no surprise when it's revealed for real. And last thing that I wrote is how predictable it is that she is going to die in the shadow. This is a thing they should have said long before. Like towards the beginning, something like that. Because she gets cured in the world of the comic. But on the contrary, in the shadow, she is sick, while she was never before in the shadow. So you see this point right away, but then they keep repeating. If you die on stage, you're out of the story completely. But if you die in the shadow, you just come back, but with your memories lost. I think they repeated twice, right after her disease switched. So you're like, yeah, well, she's just going to die in the shadow, and then she's not going to die, and she's just going to lose her memories. And just like for Haru, they are going to be able to make her memories come back. It's just so predictable because they didn't set this up right. I don't know. Now, last little thing I want to talk about, and I think it's the thing that frustrated me the most, is the ending. The ending. I did cry when Haru started disappearing, or when he realized he was going to. I did, even though I knew deep down that he was going to come back some way or another. But I still cried because I think it was pretty well done and very emotional, so it made me cry. But that's the only credit I can give to this ending. Because sure, it does come back. Sure, I am happy it's a happy ending. But there's no explanation whatsoever about how and why. No explanation at all. I really didn't understand it at all. Even just when you think about it, we don't even get to see everyone. We get kind of two endings. The first one in high school, when it's like everyone parts ways to go to university, and the next one is in university. Why do we get to see so many characters, the same characters we had in high school? Why do we get to see them in the same university but not some others? For example, we don't get to see Yojuda at all at the end. We don't get to see Baekhyun again. We do see, for example, at some point, Onamju. We saw him, with his strawberry shirt, drinking strawberry milk. But that's it. Oh, okay. So what is he doing? He's in, it's really, it's weird. But then now they reunite is so weird too. I was so disappointed. I think I stopped crying and I was watching it and I was like, I can't believe what's happening. I thought they would give an explanation. He just magically reappears for no reason and he remembers too. We don't know since when. We don't know since when he's been back because he looks like he's been back for a while. Why does he pretend to not remember? when she faces him, or does he really not remember? But if it's a joke to her, it's not funny, it's not nice. And yeah, it just ends like that with absolutely no explanation, and so very frustrating. Because I think that's the whole thing of the story, is first get to make Undano live so she won't die from her sickness, her disease. That's the first thing. And the second thing is for them to be together. How are they going to make it happen? And it's not explained because it disappears like it was kind of supposed to, but it just magically reappears, so it doesn't answer why. Yes, they can live together now because the main plot of the story is over, so they can continue living on their life in this world that was created. This I get, but it doesn't explain how still they are able to be together even though he had disappeared. So yeah, like I said, maybe I missed some things, maybe some things I didn't quite understand them, so feel free really to tell me if I'm wrong about something or if there are some details maybe I didn't see, but everything I say is how I saw it while watching the drama or what I thought about afterwards, so feel free really. But okay, that's it for me on this drama. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Like usual, don't hesitate to tell me your thoughts about this drama. Correct me if I'm wrong sometimes or missed some things. And yeah, your thoughts overall. I saw it's very mixed feelings about this drama. So yeah, don't hesitate to tell me yours. And with this, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!